she did not leave on her own. We know that.
The search for Nancy Guthrie intensifying tonight as new details emerge in the 84-year-old's disappearance, now being called an abduction.
The search intensifying now to find the mother of journalist Savannah Guthrie. Tonight, the Today Show co-anchor posting a heartfelt plea on social media after investigators say the 84-year-old may have been abducted in her sleep.
Busy Monday night, the breaking news out of Arizona. New information just coming in on the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. The sheriff telling CBS News he believes she was abducted from her home in the middle of the night.
The mother of our colleague, Savannah Guthrie, has gone missing from her Arizona home. And now the sheriff there tells me she was taken against her will from her bed in the middle of the night. Our thoughts and prayers are with Savannah and her family right now. Police saying what they need is the public's help.
I feel there are three obvious reasons we're dealing with something serious here, not just foul play, but a crime. And then because of these, I think we can already draw some interesting, if concerning, early inferences in terms of the abduction of Savannah's mother.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear. Thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Investigators in Pima County, Arizona, say the mother of Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie may have been taken from her Tucson home while she slept.
She is very limited in her mobility, right? We know she didn't just walk out of there.
Let's start with three obvious reasons we are dealing with something serious here. Number one, blood was found at the scene. According to the LA Times, authorities found blood inside the Tucson home of Nancy Guthrie. That's according to law enforcement sources. All of this heightening concerns that the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie was the victim of foul play. Details continue to emerge about the scene at Nancy Guthrie's home. The sources, who were not authorized to discuss the case publicly, said there were signs of forced entry. It's unclear whose blood was found inside the house. Well, I think it's pretty clear whose blood that was, unfortunately. Also, forced entry is likely to have coincided with the forced removal of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie from her home, and that is likely when this poor old lady was injured. I mean, when last did you leave blood, yours or anyone else's, lying around your home overnight?
And Tony, good evening to you. The sheriff confirming that Nancy Guthrie was abducted from her home behind me while she was asleep. They found inside life-saving medication and her cell phone. They're now combing through surveillance video. At one point, the sheriff getting emotional as he worried they were running out of time.
Number two, Nancy Guthrie's cell phone, purse and vehicle are still at her residence. This is also strong evidence that Nancy left her home against her will. She didn't wander off because she has mobility issues and wouldn't have wandered off at night. Also, it appears that her bed has been slept in, and I guess based on the disarray in the bedroom, that would give an indication of whether she just got up or whether she was sort of taken out of her bed against her will. Also, most people who leave home take their cell phones with at a minimum. It will be interesting if CCTV are able to identify vehicles moving around the area late that night, late on January 31st, which was a Saturday.
Nancy was last seen Saturday night when family members dropped her off at home around 9:45 p.m. But the next morning, police say a call from a friend at Nancy's church. She never showed up for Sunday service. Her children rushed to the house, spending nearly an hour searching the home and property. Unable to find her, they called 911 around noon.
And that brings us to number three, no red flags hours before her disappearance. If we didn't know any better, and if it was a younger person, this could easily be a case of someone running away from home or going for a walk and getting into trouble. If Nancy was a little bit younger and perhaps a dog walker, perhaps you could say she took her dog for a walk or something like that and got herself into trouble. But the fact is, hours before her abduction, Nancy had dinner with her other daughter, Savannah's sister Annie. This is crucial because Annie was able to see Nancy up close, and there were no red flags according to her. Her mother wasn't depressed, wasn't erratic, and wasn't unusually anxious. According to the New York Daily News, the family took her home from dinner at about 9:30 to 9:45 on Saturday night. So we would back that up to even say 9 or 8:30 to start looking. Now, I think what is useful there is you can basically exclude all the traffic up until 10 p.m. on a Saturday night, which makes it, I think, easier for authorities to start limiting the window in which to look at traffic that is moving in the area. Now, authorities believe Savannah's sister Annie Guthrie was the last person to see Guthrie before her disappearance. She said that they went out to dinner that night, and she told her Arizona authorities that her mother did not show any red flags before they returned to her home outside of Tucson. The sheriff further noted that Guthrie had this is important, no cognitive issues, and her disappearance was not linked to dementia, describing her instead as being of sound mind and sharp as a tack. Now, if Nancy was abducted, the question arises, to what purpose, and was she known by her abductor? And I must say, I would be a little bit cautious in saying that it's an abduction with no additional evidence. The blood in her home, the fact that she left her cell phone behind, does seem to suggest that this is correct, doesn't it? So if it is an abduction, is this an inside job or a random incident? On the one hand, it appears to be random in the sense that no abduction demand has been made. But if money, in other words, was it premeditated? But if money is the motive, why abduct an 84-year-old lady and not take anything else? Not take her purse, not take her vehicle? At this early stage, I think what we could be dealing with is a personal vendetta, perhaps even aimed against Savannah. I say this because of the timing of the abduction. It was timed just before Savannah was due to leave, and the abduction ultimately prevented her from leaving. Perhaps that was the idea. On the other hand, if someone knew Nancy and knew Savannah was her daughter, perhaps they were counting on Savannah being out of the country and covering the Olympics, and thus they wouldn't be in the crosshairs of any kind of media fallout. I just don't really buy that, though. It does seem like an inside job in the sense that it appears whoever abducted Nancy were possibly watching her home and knew she wasn't home when she went to dinner and knew when she was back. And that suggests that there's some kind of planning going on here, some kind of premeditation. One question that does arise is whether the perpetrator was already in the home when Nancy arrived home that night. I doubt it, because their vehicle would likely have been nearby, and that probably would have caused suspicion. Another possibility is that someone close to Nancy was unhappy with her. A scorned lover or ex seems unlikely. A housekeeper or gardener or neighbor seems possible, except what could the motive be if not money? Is a ransom demand on the cards? Did the abductor not know he was dealing with someone who had connections to the media, and in that sense made her basically a dangerous target?
Guthrie lives alone and was last seen by her children Saturday night around 9:45. Friends alerting Guthrie's family after she missed church Sunday morning. Her children calling police after checking her home.
There were circumstances on scene that we believe are suspicious in nature, I think is the best way to put it.
Meanwhile, according to the Daily News, a tip line has been established, and the Sheriff's Department is offering a reward of up to $2,500 for images, video, or information that leads to an arrest. And we are certainly holding thumbs for a positive outcome in this particular case. Well, I'm not going to take it further than that. If you're new to this channel, have a look at my 10-second bio. Please subscribe if you're interested, and hit the thanks button if you'd like me to continue covering this case, and I'll see you guys next time.